Chapter 6. People WHO run our government. The President. In the previous chapter, we have learnt that the President is the formal head of the executive, legislature and judiciary of India. The ultimate powers to run the government are in the hands of the President of India. In this way, the President is the head of the Indian Union. The Vice President, the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers, the officials and experts of the civil services assist and advise the President in his work. The President is indirectly elected by the people through elected members of the Parliament of India, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, as well as of the legislative assemblies in states of India, Vidhan Sabha, and the each union territories, i.e. Delhi, Puducherry, etc. The President serves the country for a term of 5 years. The Constitution of India provides that to be eligible for the post of the President, a candidate must be a citizen of India, must be of at least 35 years of age, must be qualified to be a member of the Lok Sabha, must be not hold any office of profit under central, state or local governments. By neither can he/she be a member of the Parliament or a state legislature. Powers of the President. Although Article 53 of the Constitution of India states that the President can exercise his powers directly or by subordinate authority, with few exceptions, all of the executive authority vested in the President are, in practice, exercised by the Government of India. This executive power is exercised by the Prime Minister with the help of the Council of Ministers. Administrative and executive powers. The executive power of the Union vests in the President and is exercised by him either directly or through officers subordinate to him. He is the Supreme Commander of the Defence Forces. He appoints the Prime Minister and on his advice, the other ministers. The judges of the Supreme Court, the High Courts, the governors of the state, ambassadors to foreign countries, chairman and other member of the Union Public Service Commission are all appointed by him. The Commissioner and members of the Election Commission are appointed by the President. All treaties and agreements with foreign countries are made in the name of the President of India. Legislative powers. The President can summon or discontinue the Houses of Parliament. He has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha. He can address either House or both Houses of Parliament together. He address a joint sitting of both Houses of Parliament at the beginning of the first session after each general election to the Lok Sabha at the beginning of the first session of each year. The President can also issue ordinances, which have the force of law, when the Parliament is not in session. Judicial powers. The President has the power to reduce a sentence or grant a pardon on a mercy petition to any person who has been sentenced by any court in the country. Financial powers. All money bills are introduced in the Lok Sabha with the permission of the President. Emergency powers. The President of India has been given wide powers to meet emergency. During emergency, the President can suspend partially or even wholly the fundamental rights granted to every citizen under the Constitution. An emergency may arise under any of the following conditions. A. Emergency arising out of war or an attack from other country or internal disturbance. B. Emergency due to the failure of the constitutional machinery and C. Financial emergency for short periods has so far been declared on 3 occasions in our country. For the first time, it was declared in 1962 when the country was attacked by China. The emergency continued for 3 years. For the second time, emergency was declared when we had to fight a war with Pakistan in 1971. Last emergency was imposed in June 1975 when the country was faced with a grave danger to national security. It was lifted in 1971. How the President exercises his powers? The President exercises these powers only on the advice of the Prime Minister and the Council of his Ministers. he is bound to accept the advice. The President of India is a national head to that extent. Term of office. The term of office of the Vice President is 5 years. It may end earlier either by resignation in writing addressed to the President or by impeachment. The Vice President may be removed by a resolution of the Rajya Sabha passed by a majority of its members and agreed to by the Lok Sabha by a majority. Functions. The Vice President functions as the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. But if there is a vacancy in the office of the President because of resignation, removal or death, the Vice President acts as the President until a new President is elected. In case of temporary absence of the President also, the Vice President discharges the functions of the President. At such times he ceases to perform the duties of the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Appointment of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is formally appointed by the President, but he is not free to appoint anyone to this office. The Prime Minister must be a person who enjoys the support of the Lok Sabha. He must be a member of the Parliament. In a situation where the leader of the largest party in the Lok Sabha is neither a member of the Lok Sabha nor Rajya Sabha, he can still be appointed as the Prime Minister. But in such a situation, the Prime Minister would have to get himself elected as member of the Parliament within 6 months. In case he cannot get himself elected, he cannot continue as a Prime Minister or even as a minister. The Prime Minister of India, despite all the powers vested in him, cannot act as autocrat. He has to take into account the sentiments of the members of his party. The ministers are leaders in their own spheres, so their advice must be considered. They hear the right to discuss matters with an open mind. The final say in the matters, however, rests with the Prime Minister. Every year, on 15th August, the Prime Minister of India addresses the National from the Red Fort at Delhi. Eligibility. To be eligible to be appointed as the Prime Minister, a person must be a member of either the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. A person who is not a member can be appointed for 6 months. But then he/she has to obtain membership of any house of the Parliament during this time. Usually, the Prime Minister and most of the other ministers are members of the Lok Sabha. Categories of ministers. There are 3 categories of minister. Cabinet ministers. They hold independent change of their departments. Generally, they are the most experienced, influential, mature and prominent members of the party. They constitute the cabinet of the Prime Minister. Ministers of State. The Ministers of State attend meetings of the cabinet when invited to policy discussions. They may hold charge of their department independently. Deputy Ministers. The Deputy Ministers assist the ministers in their departments. Each minister is given one department under his charge. This is generally referred to as portfolio. He is responsible for the working of the ministry assigned to him. Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. The Council of Ministers includes all the 3 categories of ministers. The Cabinet, however, includes only the first category. All important decisions concerning the government at the centre are taken by the Cabinet. These decisions are binding on all the 3 categories of ministers. The Prime Minister is the head of Council of Ministers and also the Cabinet. All the ministers are expected to work in close cooperation as a term under the captaincy of the Prime Minister.